And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. President Obama hosted talks with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House Tuesday in a push to restart direct negotiations between Israeli and Palestinian Authority officials. Obama urged the two sides to resume talks before the partial freeze on building illegal Jewish-only settlements in the West Bank expires in September. At a joint news conference after their meeting Tuesday morning, both Obama and Netanyahu emphasized the unbreakable bond between Israel and the United States and downplayed recent U.S.-Israeli tensions over the settlements. In his remarks to the press, President Obama made no mention of settlement expansion or the Israeli commando attack on the humanitarian aid flotilla that killed 9 people, including a U.S. citizen. He noted that Netanyahu is, quote, willing to take risks for peace, and praised Israel's moves to begin easing the blockade of Gaza.
Let me first of all say that I think the Israeli government, working through layers of various governmental entities and jurisdictions, have shown restraint over the last several months that I think has been conducive to the prospects of us getting into direct talks. I think it's very important that the Palestinians not look for excuses for incitement, that they are not engaging in provocative language, that at the international level they are maintaining a constructive tone as opposed to looking for opportunities to embarrass Israel.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu echoed President Obama's optimism about moving forward with direct negotiations, but warned that Israel wants a secure peace.
We don't want a repeat of a situation where we vacate territories and those are overtaken by Iran's proxies and used as launching ground for terrorist attacks or rocket attacks. I think there are solutions that we can adopt. But in order to proceed to the solutions, we need to begin negotiations in order to end them. We've begun proximity talks. I think it's high time to begin direct talks.
Netanyahu's meeting with Obama came on the heels of a decision by the Israeli military prosecutor to take disciplinary and legal action in 4 separate cases from Israel's 22-day assault on Gaza last year. One soldier was charged with manslaughter in connection with the deaths of a Palestinian mother and daughter who were shot while waving white flags. The prosecutor also called for a criminal investigation into airstrikes on a building into which Israeli troops had ordered 100 members of a single family. Over 24 members of the family were killed in the shelling. For more on the U.S.-Israeli relations and prospects for peace and accountability, I'm joined now on the phone from Tel Aviv by veteran Israeli journalist Amira Hass. She's the Haaretz correspondent for the occupied Palestinian territories and the only Israeli journalist to have spent several years living in and reporting from Gaza and the West Bank. Amira, welcome to Democracy Now! Your comments on the meeting between Netanyahu and Obama yesterday and what came of it.
Oh, it's really saying I have no comment. I thought we were talking about something else. I didn't even watch it. I think it's by the time we know really what happened there, I mean, it'll take some time before we know really what happened there. I only hope that, or I suspect that Obama allowed himself to be misled by the sweet talk of Netanyahu. That's my impression. I mean, that's my guess. But I'm sorry because I prepared for speaking
Well, Amira, let me
things.
ask you, President Obama praised Netanyahu for the easing of the blockade. Can you talk about what that means?
Look, then perhaps Obama should ask himself if he was satisfied in life of just getting chips and ketchup and Coca-Cola and not being allowed to produce, to create, to export, to send his daughters to university, to send his to have visitors from outside. If this is the life that he thinks are suitable for a human being, then maybe all the Americans who voted for him made a mistake.
Well, explain.
Because the blockade, the blockade. Look, everybody talks about food. when we come to this blockade. So now Israel is giving some more items of food to the allowing the Palestinian merchants to buy some more tens of items of food and to get into Gaza. And maybe some other stuff, I don't know. But everything which is connected to raw materials for industry, for producing, anything connected to construction material is very limited. Nothing has changed. So adding ketchup, as somebody told me, adding ketchup does not make people feel that the blockade is over. Maybe now there are more types of shampoo that Israel will allow to enter. But anyway, in the past years, Palestinians have managed to bring in shampoo and some other hygiene products from Egypt through the tunnels. And this is not the blockade. The blockade is about being imprisoned in Gaza. This is the real closure. This is the real siege. And this is not going to change. Only today there was a court hearing about of a petition of a Palestinian lawyer, female lawyer from Gaza, who wants to complete her MA studies at Birzeit University. And the state does not allow her because they say that when it comes to the passage, to the movement of human beings, nothing has changed. They still do not allow, as they haven't been allowed anyway for the past 10 years or 15 years, but ever more severely, they don't allow the passage, the movement of people between Gaza and the West Bank, except of some rare, very exceptional humanitarian cases. So this remained the same. This remained the same. Also, Palestinians cannot export. Israel is talking only about bringing in products, not exporting. So even if Palestinians got now raw materials, for example, for textile, for furniture, the industries, the traditional industries that Gazans were excelled at, they are not allowed to export them. So they won't earn a living. So the Gaza is a huge prison where people are dependent on charity, some sort of charity. This situation is not going to change now with Israeli new measures.
Amira Hass, the meeting yesterday between Netanyahu and Obama came on the heels of the decision by the Israeli military prosecutor to take disciplinary and legal action in 4 separate cases in the Israeli assault on Gaza last year. Among them, a soldier charged with manslaughter in connection with the deaths of a Palestinian mother and daughter. Can you explain that story?
There are several. There are 2. This is, and I've spoken to the family. I think it was the 4th of the second day, or the first morning, the first day of the ground invasion, where people understood that they should leave their homes and go from the east of Gaza to more to the west, towards the city itself. There was a group of people, 30, 40 people, with children, with women. The whole area, it's an agricultural area with scattered houses. It's not it's not heavily populated. They left with waving white flags, and from a distance of, I don't remember how many meters, 60, 70, 100, a tank stopped and then shot at the mother and the daughter. The family couldn't even bury them. They had to flee. They had to flee, and they came back a week or 15 days later to recover the corpses. These are the mother and the daughter. The same unit, Givati unit, were in charge of the whole area, and I have, like many other journalists and human rights field workers, we have researched all the measures of this unit over the area: destruction of houses, bombing, shelling, not allowing people to reach to get rescued by medical teams. This has been the case. This has been the case in all over this area, in other places, but very strongly in this area, where the Samuni, a bit further to the west, the Samuni family that you also mentioned, are one of the most difficult cases of this onslaught. And as you said, 29 people were killed, 21 or 22 of whom in the house to which the soldiers themselves ordered them to be in. So the soldiers knew very well that there are civilians gathered in the house feeling secure because